Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani, your frantically fatigued firefly. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm all right. Hanging in there, as always.
Mm-hmm.
You
sipping on some
red wine. Looking real...
It's a red wine blend, you know.
Oh, you're being very classy this evening.
You know. Aged 3 months in bourbon whiskey barrels, you know. Oh. Trying some new things in my life.
Well, I am here for it. It smells like red wine, so I hope it tastes good. Never been that big of a red wine fan, so...
That's because of that one time in college when you were being immature.
I wasn't being immature. I was being supportive of a friend who had broken up, and our only friend who was of legal drinking age went to the liquor store for us, and she got what she liked, which was red wine.
Got you. And you asked me, you should have been like, listen, that's beneath me.
I didn't know what was beneath me because I never had it before.
So I blame your sister.
Don't do that. But welcome to another episode of Lovers Quarrel. As always, you know that you can find us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show. Make sure you follow us there. On Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7. And email us your questions, comments, thoughts, headaches, and heartaches at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. Also, you will catch us on Clubhouse this coming Tuesday at 7:30. Unless otherwise noted, we're trying to change platforms and see how that goes. Last week, we did our inaugural fireside chat on Clubhouse, and it went pretty well. It was intimate, but we had some familiar faces, we had some not familiar faces, and we're looking to grow over there. So, and also, you know, if you need an invite, just DM us, and, you know, we might be able to help you out with that. So just be on the lookout. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our elevator. I'm going down.
Oh, I am too.
Oh, so it doesn't matter who goes first. I'll let you go first. So going down.
I would say the work has hit the toll for me, and it's just like, you know, it's stressful. And again, not just work, but I also think being stuck in the house is really just like, all right, another, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a difference between like wanting to stay home and just
being forced to stay
home.
And
again, we're not forced. I mean, I could do anything, but again, I got to think about you. I got to think about Tatum. I got to think about my in-laws. Like, I got to think about other people. I can't just think about myself. So I've tried to be as mindful as possible, but it's just like, there's kind of no escape. Like, you know, I've never been more excited to like go run errands or like go to the store. Like, it's sad that it's like that gives me joy right now, but I'm just going down because I just think I think everything hit me like a ton of bricks, and it's just like, again, the world is still. The world doesn't know what it's doing, and it just shows. Like, you know, we're sending teachers back to school, but there is no plan. Like, we didn't think about the what ifs. We're just like, well, we got to send them back. So we got to send them back. And it's just like, no, like the plan should be like, we should just shut down. Everything should shut down. And then y'all figure out what the plan is. Like, to me, it's that would make the most sense.
I mean, but making sense is common sense, you know, ain't something that is commonly found. And, you know, I hear you with like feeling like you're hitting a wall of sorts. Like, you know, I really like, I don't really have a desire. Like I was talking on Twitter. I was looking and I was saying how like I really want to find like a hobby, and I don't even know. And I was telling you about it. Like I want to, but I don't even know where to start. And I have like no desire, like even to like watch TV. Like I don't binge stuff anymore. Like the last thing I was really into was Lovecraft Country, and then outside of that, like I'm just not motivated or inclined or interested to watch anything new, really, to check out like a whole bunch of new movies or anything like that. It's cold. It's snowing currently as we're talking. It's about to be like a blizzard, or not a blizzard, but we're definitely about to get a bunch of snow out where we live. And it's not like I can just go like for a walk or anything like that. So, and you know, like I'm right there with you where it's like a trip to Target, a trip to the grocery store is like, oh good, I get to get out the house. A drive down the road is like enough. Just going to my sister's house is enough. has had to be enough, because it's like I'm not going out to restaurants, I'm not traveling, I'm not seeing friends.
That is true. I'm hoping that within the next few weeks, because the Valentine's Day weekend, we're supposed to be getting the rest of the home project stuff finished, and then I'll be able to like have my gym, and then maybe that can be a hobby for.
I mean, I'm down for it. I'm the fitness aspect of it. I'm trying to get back in. I will say I am trying to get back into yoga, so I'll explore that next month.
You have an Apple Watch. They have like Apple Watch has like Apple Plus Fitness, and you can like do like workouts or yoga stuff using that goes with your watch, but you can watch it on TV.
Well, I'm down for that too. I did not know that the watch had that feature. But yeah, I feel you on that, and it's hard. It's hard. It's the fatigue of COVID, and you know, I'm not going to cave and do some like irresponsible or like reckless shit, but I'd be lying if I didn't say like I feel it too, you know. But
I think that's what it is. I think I'm just feeling the fatigue, like doing the same shit over and over. Like I'm telling you, I can't wait to there's some normalcy. Like I'm at it. Mm-hmm. You remember in Cars when Lightning McQueen, when they took the boot off him and he
ran
ghost off. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm gonna be at.
I'm not mad at that.
So what is your down?
So I have several. But they can be short and to the point.
Do what you feel, love. This is your moment.
So go to hell to whoever these clown ass niggas are that were removing the filter on the silhouette challenge.
That is pretty trash.
Y'all are fucking lames. Y'all are whack. Like, this is why people can't do fun things or things that make them feel empowered and share it with their timelines and their feeds, because some pervy kid or pervy guy with, you know, probably no girl.
Let's just say pervy person.
It's pervy person.
Because you over here just presuming that it has to be a man. And again, it probably was a man, but still.
Exactly.
Don't make it seem like it's just all men. Anyway,
I didn't say it was all men.
You got it.
Just these particular pervy motherfuckers.
My fault. Go ahead.
Who ain't probably got no girl, nor a door frame for her to do a silhouette challenge in. Living on your mama's couch. Doing this type of shit is whack. And on that kind of on the same wavelength as far as like violating or making like trying to have an impact on women or a woman's sexuality. Also, and this one is to this next part is to people, because it wasn't just men. To the people who slut shamed poor Chloe Bailey. She just was on, I just saw on Twitter, she was on live like explaining herself and crying and everything else, because now that she's like embracing her sexiness, people are slut shaming her. People are
shaming her, saying what though?
Just I don't even know. Like talking about like she thinks she all that. Talk about like how she needs to like, I don't know if she needs to cover up or she doing too much. Like niggas just hating, and I say niggas like as a universal term for people, like just hating. And I'm like, she's 20 years old. She's bad as fuck. And she deserves to be able to embrace her sexuality, to show off her beautiful body or her face, and whatever way she deems that she's comfortable with. And then it's like, you know, people noticed that she had more of a curvy shape before she maybe was doing a little bit more of like the silhouette challenges and the busted challenges and stuff like that. And then now because she's like outwardly embracing it on a public platform, it's a problem. And it's like, yo, women are damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. If you don't do any of this shit, you're a prude and you this, that, and other. If you do it, then you're a slut or you're a whore and all this stuff. And it's just like, yo, people be so worried about what somebody else is doing when it's just like, yo, all you do is you sound fucking bitter and you sound mad because you don't got a body that banging, or that you got so much time on your hands that you're worried about what she is doing. And you got this baby, and let me not use baby, she's a young woman. You got this young woman feeling like she owes you rando motherfuckers an explanation, and she don't owe people shit.
But that's what happens when you're in that world and you allow followers and stuff like that. I mean, unfortunately, I'm saying if it was me, I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah. But she's still, you're right. But it's just like, it's easier said than done. And she's in a very vulnerable space and time in her life. And she's beautiful and she's talented and she's got this great body and she's got all these things going for her. And she's exploring her public persona, and
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
There's not a single iota wrong with it. So fuck you to whoever tweeted, tagged, posted, commented, whatever, trying to make her feel a way that there wasn't anything besides "get it, girl." Like, you're whack. Like, you're whack as fuck. And my last thing is from the education standpoint, which is, like I said, we are in the Northeast, in the middle of a pretty heavy snowstorm that'll be lasting us has started Sunday and will be lasting us into Tuesday. And like, give everybody a snow day. We've pivoted to online learning, and it just seems like with that, the end of the snow days as we know it are over. And I understand that it's great that we can maintain some consistency, because there was a time one year when I was teaching 6th grade and we had a week off because it was just such a blizzard and we couldn't get to school, and that does impact a lot. But snow days are built into every school district's calendar. Like, they allot for a certain number of snow days, and so I just wish we could still, like, on a day like tomorrow where it's probably going to be snowing all day, it's going to be ample, kids could go outside and play. Like, there has to be some semblance of childhood and of those types of memories that kids, like, in this day and age, just still be able to experience. And I just wish that they would. They're not. They already sent the communications that, like, in-person learning for the groups that are doing it, or like the meal distribution, student learning centers and the meal distribution sites are closed, but everybody's just switching. If they were going to in-person anything, they're switching to online, and everybody who's still been online is staying online. And it's just like, cut everybody a break. The kids, the teachers, like, it would be such a great morale booster, but a lot of school districts aren't going to do it. But I have seen some in DC and in like kind of like outside of New York City, in the areas that are getting hit, that have called it. But it's not happening in Baltimore, as best as I can see, and it's not happening in a lot of places. And I really feel like it should, because kids and teachers and everybody kind of deserves that, like, the excitement of, like, oh, it's a snow day. Like, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, but you can't get snow days anymore because you can work from home.
I get it, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you always have to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, but America is based on, it's
about productivity.
We do about rules, and we think that you have to do these things. There was people who thought that you can't work from home, you can't be productive from home, and
here we are.
When they were forced to do it, now it's kind of like, what do you do? How do you go back, or how do you decide to do it? I mean, the parents can also just be like, listen, stay home.
Oh, some are going to be like, I already saw on Facebook, some parents are like, I'm not making my kid log in tomorrow because are you
making Tatum log in tomorrow?
Is Tatum going to log in tomorrow? I probably will, only because I don't want her to feel as though she is.
Her day is also shorter, so
it is, and but Tatum would feel left out if she felt like all her classmates and her teachers were there and they talk about something from Monday on Tuesday, and then she missed it. Like, I don't want her to be the thing. That's why I would rather it be like a.
I'm saying I understand your point, but I'm also saying Tatum class is like an hour and a half, so it's not even like,
it's not an all day thing. Yeah. She still will get time to play in the snow. I will make time for her to go outside with her and make a little moments, even if it's for 30 minutes or an hour.
I'll join you. I'll take a lunch so we can go play with Tatum outside.
I appreciate that, because she would really, really love that. Because that little snow tube thing, she had a ball.
And I don't know if I have clothes
that fit, or like just winter clothes, or both.
Both.
Or just layer up in some sweats and put on your boots. Put on some socks, a couple layers of socks. I got my rain boots. I'm gonna put them on. 2 layers of leggings and my
We'll
coat
figure it
hat.
out. I'll definitely figure it out. But
Yeah. But that, because it's memories, and she deserves
I
it.
didn't say no. I'm not saying you don't have to try to make it make sense to me. I get it. I'm just thinking of how I can make it work. That's it. That's what I said. I'll take my lunch break so that way we can enjoy.
Yeah. So, that being said, we're going to get off our kind of miserable elevator because we leave those miserable niggas on there. And we're going to jump into our relationship tip of the week. My relationship tip of the week is pretty simple, and it's something that I recognize that I need to work on. And it's not anything new, which means I need to do better, which is to demonstrate, and my suggestion to you all in relationships is to demonstrate random acts of affection. You know, if you do it, and it's about finding a balance, right? Because if you do it all the time, it's not so random. But if you do it so few and far between that it seems like alarming or strange to your partner, then you might need, you could probably stand to do it a little bit more often. And that was something that I know I need to work on. I asked TJ like out of the blue for a kiss today, and he kind of looked at me like, that was random, like what? And I just, wanted to, he was walking by and I thought like, I just want to kiss my husband. But because that's something I don't do often, sometimes he finds it like a bit jarring, I guess. And with that being said, like, I'm like, all right, I need to be like more mindful of that. And that's pretty much it. That's my relationship tip for this week. Simple,
so I'm gonna be
but
honest
straightforward.
with you. I didn't have a tip. I was about to concede, but then you just said something. So my tip is based off of what did happen. Like my tip is be open to change.
Good tip.
And I say that because, again, when Dani asked me to kiss her, I'm like, I was already, like, typically Dani has bad timing, I feel. Because I'd be, like, on a mission or ready to do something, and then that's when she wants to, like, get me. But I've learned to just accept it because, if I'm asking for affection and then she tries to do it the way that she does it, but then I'm not receptive to it, mm-hmm. then she's not going to do it. So it's kind of like, as she's telling y'all to be more spontaneous and just do it, I'm going to say for those, be spontaneous in receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, there you go. I think we can call that a tie because it's kind of like they go hand in hand. They're complementary to each other.
I think I won, but I get you.
Not if he was about to concede, nigga.
The fact that I was able to come off the top of the dome, that was like a freestyle. Like,
I mean, it's a glass half full mentality.
You wrote yours down.
You came in unprepared.
You wrote yours down, and I came off the top with it. Feel me?
Well, before I wrote it down, it came from my brain. So you should see him with this wine glass, y'all. This nigga thinks he is such a rich bitch right now.
Why all that?
He's sitting here like a rich bitch.
Why gotta be all that though?
Because
this is how you're supposed to hold it.
You're supposed to hold it by the stem. You're not supposed to hold it by the whatever this called, the well, the bulb. I don't remember.
Supposed to hold it right here.
You're supposed to hold it like here.
Nah.
And so.
Nah, I like it right here.
Yeah, I don't think you should hold it like that either. You'll drop it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, like, that's how like the sommeliers hold their wine. You hear that sipping, and here I am.
I only had
I'm trying to be quiet with my drink, and
I just had they had to hear. I wanted them to taste what I could taste. Feel me? They would taste that. And I'm only drinking wine because I made this fire ass
chicken and shrimp Alfredo
from scratch.
Yes.
Shout out to my father.
Yes.
Fire. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to see if this was a good pairing.
Was it?
Not really. I think this is better with like the
steak.
With steak.
Yeah, I feel like they always say like red wines go well with like red meat. But your dinner was phenomenal. And side note, y'all, once you have fresh pasta, you will never want to go back. Like when TJ had our good friend Macau come over, who's Penthouse Eats, shout out to Penthouse Eats, cooked dinner for me back in like October, I think. she used fresh like fettuccine noodles or something like that, and they were so good. Like they're so different than just getting the box and you boil the noodles and stuff. It'll change your life. And so between the fresh noodles that he purchased and then the made from scratch Alfredo sauce and the well-seasoned shrimp and chicken, even though I don't eat shrimp like that, but I eat all the chicken pieces, and it was phenomenal. So thank you for that dinner.
Another tip, get you a girl who don't like seafood, know what I mean? So that you goop, know what I mean? Exactly.
When
we go to the hibachi, give me her shrimp, feel me?
Yes, and whenever he gets crab legs and stuff.
Exactly. She don't even want it, you know what I mean? Other people are like, oh, nah. You know what I mean? You crack it, you got all your meat over there. They be like, oh, can I have some? Nah. My wife don't even want it, feel me?
That's why he married me, y'all.
Exactly.
Because I don't like seafood that heavy. But, all right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to jump into our Black History fact. And I mean, when this episode drops, it will officially be the beginning of the beautiful, wonderful, shouldn't be the shortest month of the year, Black History Month. So that in itself is a phenomenal fact. We are back in Black History Month, and
seemed like yesterday.
I know. So we've been doing.
It's so crazy that March is like right here.
We about to be a year in this pandemic.
That's so crazy. That's another birthday I ain't gonna get.
Yeah. It's not going. It definitely. I mean, it might be a little bit better, but not really, because yours was right at this chapter.
I'm not going nowhere until it's like you can go.
Yeah, but that's because these nakers out here are just not doing what they're supposed to do and not listening and not following protocols.
I mean, I wouldn't listen either. I mean, if I wasn't married to you and I didn't really care about like my family and friends, I'd be out here like, fuck it. We all gonna get it. But I'm trying to be responsible, so.
I think the only thing I would say I might be doing differently is I might make more attempts to see my friends, but I damn sure wouldn't be traveling. I wouldn't be going out.
Oh, I would have.
I'm not.
I'd have been
I'm too scary.
I would have wore a mask though. Like I would have always I'd have been masked up. I've been seeing a whole bunch of just like
I started double masking.
Huh?
I started double masking this past week. Because I keep reading articles that saying like it's now you got variants and stuff. You got the South African variant, the Brazilian variant, the UK variant, and it's just like you got more people getting the vaccine, but not everybody got enough. They don't got enough for the second round, and this and the other. Like it's the ghetto. It's like trailer park couture.
But that's what happens when you have no one who can give you guidance. Like everyone is doing what they want because. Truly, there is no guidance. There is no rules. There is nothing out there.
Yeah, we have
these little things like 20%, 25% people can be there and all this other stuff. But what happens in Maryland like is different in New York, which is different than Atlanta. It's different, like Atlanta, and that's the issue.
Atlanta don't got no rules because fucking the governor. But anyway.
But that's the issue. The issue is that we have no guidance. So everyone is trying to do the best that they can with what they can, how they can. So
niggas are trying to get over because everybody want to just make money.
Well, because everything is still, everyone is still asking for money. So
I know. That's why
they have to work. It's not a thing about just doing it just to do it. Like everyone still has to work.
Yeah.
We're not like other countries where they shut everything down and they pay people
to stay home.
Yeah.
Because that sounds too much like having sense. I mean, the new administration, they're trying, but you can't fix shit like this overnight. And they're doing a lot in a short amount of time, but it's still going to be a while before we might really see like the long-term benefits of the stuff that they're putting into place now. And on a political note, fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and all of those Trump QAnon conspiracy theory motherfuckers who are in Congress and are a part of the lawmakers, because they need to be expelled from Congress. And I hope that, I just hope that they get whatever is coming to them as far as like they deserve to be expelled. They deserve to be vilified. They deserve to be kicked, shamed out of Washington. And it probably won't happen, but the wild shit that they're spewing and saying is out of fucking control. And shout out to my girl Cori Bush, the representative from St. Louis, because I bang with her. She's like the new, kind of like the new member, like, of like the squad, which is like the AOC. Like, she's on that wave, like the Ayanna Presley's and stuff. And I bang with her heavy. So, but actually, it's still Black History Month. And my fact is that on February 1st, 1960, the 4 students from North Carolina A&T College started the sit-in movement in Greensboro, North Carolina at a local lunch counter. And by February 10th, the movement had spread to 15 southern cities in 5 states. So the Greensboro 4 did their inaugural sit-in on February 1st, 1960. So shout out to those men. Shout out to HBCUs. And, you know, let this Black History Month, let, you know, Black people continue to thrive and be excellent and rise above and be great, because it's our month and we deserve all the things. Black Lives Matter and all that jazz. So that's all I got.
So legendary poet Langston Hughes was born February 1st.
Dope.
So he went to Lincoln University in PA.
Shout out to Lincoln.
And he's also a member of Omega Sub 5, I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So.
And you said he was like good friends with Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
I would pay to be a fly on the wall with a conversation between them two. You got like the famous poet with the famous lawyer and eventual Supreme Court justice. That's pretty dope. Black excellence. So now it is time for TJ to try and stump me with his word of the week. Let the record show we are entering the month of February and I have not lost yet. So I'm going to try and make my streak continue. So I can say I had a full 1 month streak. So whenever you are ready, sir.
I'm going to need some help from my good friend to pronounce this word. Go ahead.
Pertinacious.
Oh, I have never heard of that word.
If you won't take no for an answer, you're pertinacious.
Pertinacious. Who's somebody that we know that's pertinacious? It doesn't take no for an answer.
Who you thinking?
Your mother.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Your mother is pertinacious. Okay.
Can you spell it?
I don't know. All right. Can you let Arthur spell it? Say it one more time.
Hold on.
Okay.
Pertinacious.
Pertinacious. Okay. Pertinacious. Pertinacious. No.
Wrong.
God damn it. Was it a U?
It's wrong. You said an E instead of an I. Pertinacious.
So Tin?
Tin. You said Ten.
Oh, because I was thinking like tenacious, like tenacity. Because tenacity is like you don't... Fuck, man. Now I'm sad.
Take that. Ugh. Nothing brings me more joy than to stump you. Especially because you was talking so much shit. Let's see if I can go for another month of undefeatedness.
I will come back strong next week. It's fine. This will just, keep me a little humble here and there. But, because I'm never too cocky. I'm never too arrogant. But I was, feeling confident because of my streak.
You was on a strong 8, strong 9 on a cocky scale. I'm just saying.
Not true. But I will come back again, like I said, stronger next week, and you will rue the day that you stumped me this week. So
Let's go on to the squirrel.
Yes, let us do that. So I saw this tweet the other day, and I don't know, it made me think. So I figured it might be something worth discussing. And the tweet goes, eventually, kids get old enough to see which parent was the problem. Now, you and I are both products of two-parent households. And so, like, I think that tweet can be kind of evaluated and, like, it's broken down in different ways depending on what your, like, parental upbringing looked like, you know? Because, you know, let's say on the most obvious side, if you have a parent that was absent and one parent that was present, then, like, maybe it's obvious that the absent parent, in some situations, the absent parent was the problematic parent, right? Or, you know, but then it's not, we know that parenting, as we've been parents now for going on 4 years, that it's not that always that cut and dry. And it's not always that simple. So what I guess I want to know or want to talk about is, or quarrel about, is like, do you think that there's truth, even any truth to that statement? And if that's the case, like, what are some of those, like, signs that people start to see, like, as they get older, that of, like, which parent or how both parents were problematic? So do you even think that this, so to start with, part one, do you even think that this is true? Like, eventually kids get old enough to see which parent was the problem. Like, is there truth to that?
I mean, of course. I mean, it's truth in anything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, of course you could see, but I'm like, what problem? Are they just saying, like, which one was the more problematic parent? Or are they saying, like, if the parents are divorced? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it depends on how you interpret
what context?
it. I think it's how you interpret it. So, like, I'll say this. When I read that, I identified with the coming to terms I had to do with my dad as I got older. So growing up, when my parents didn't even, like, argue per se. They just were never really, like, seemed like connected. But my mom, being my mom, was, like, the way more, like, vocal parent. She let it be known when she was dissatisfied. She let it be known when she felt like my dad wasn't doing enough. She complained, whatever you want to call it. She called him or held him accountable, right? But she was very, like, vocal about that. And my dad didn't really say much in response. So that made me feel like my mom was being, like, a bully or being mean for no reason. So, like, you know, childhood age Dani, like, you know, elementary school age Dani, I used to, like, get angry with my mom and be like, you're so mean to daddy and all this other stuff. And my mother wouldn't necessarily, like, tell me exactly what my father might have said or done, but she would kind of, like, dismiss me. She was like, girl, whatever, like, you don't know, or just, girl, whatever, shut up, like, that type of stuff. And as I got older, I began to see that my dad, who was and is till the day he died, my hero, wasn't necessarily as, like, infallible of a man as I thought he was. And I realized as I, you know, got into, like, high school age that while my mother said how she felt all the time, my father was more of a man of, like, action. His actions spoke louder than his words, or his inaction, right? And so that's how sometimes he would be, like, I guess, get his get backs at my mom or whatever. And it made me realize, in my situation, in my parental situation, that I used to think, you know, so when I was a young child, I used to think that my mom was the only problem, when in turn, it was actually both of them in their own ways. But, you know,
I feel like anyone would feel that way. I mean, can feel that way about their parents and stuff like that. Like, we all know that it's not. I mean, we should all know that. Like, once you like have dated, like, you kind of will see like, wait, how am I going through this? My parents had to go. Like, every person have these things that we go through. Mm-hmm. So it's not. It shouldn't be like which parent was wrong, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's always cut and dry. Like, but I think that I think it means that like you start to identify the toxic behaviors that your parents have as you get old enough to see the toxic behaviors for what they are. I think there comes a point in time in most adults' lives that you start to see or identify with your parents not just simply as your parents, but as these like whole ass adults that don't have all the answers and don't have everything figured out and fucked up, like said fucked up things, did fucked up things, were, you know, did the best that they could as parents, but lacked in certain areas, and also like that don't know everything. And I think I think in some people's relationships with their families and their parents that there's a dynamic where like one is like way more, it's like the scales are tipped in one person's favor more than the other, but it's still like I think that's like what that tweet kind of means to me. Like, there's an identification of like, oh shit, like my parent had like toxic behaviors, or my parent wasn't like this all-knowing like saint of a person that I thought that he or she was. They are flawed. But I think it's also about how that might have impacted you as their child in the long term as well. You know, because we're all products of like our parents or parent, you know, traumas, or their own traumas, their own histories end up like falling on us, or their, you know, and a lot, I mean, I would say like most parents are doing the best that they can with what they have, with the tools that they have, and with the information that they have.
I think that's the most important thing that people have to figure. Like, they have to understand. Like, you can't get mad at your parents if they couldn't teach you something, or, you know, because like if they were never taught that or they never seen it, they can't pass that on to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got to appreciate what your parents was able to give you, and kind of appreciate what they couldn't, because then it makes you kind of be like, well, if my parents didn't think this way, then I'm gonna think this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there's definitely truth to that, and I think that there's like and I think it's too like, even because like, put it like this, right? To that point, you're gonna have things that your parents taught you that you personally like don't subscribe to, so you're gonna like, you know, we a la carte that shit when we're parents. Like, when we become parents, it's like, okay, you and I kind of cherry pick things from our own upbringings that we decide to take with us in our upbringing of Tatum. Mm-hmm. But there's plenty of stuff too that me and you choose to not take with us, that your parents and my parents is taught to us, because we're like, we didn't like it, or we don't agree with it, or or, you know, times have changed, so we feel like it's a different approach that we should take with it, and that's okay. And the same thing is like the things that they didn't get around to teaching to us or showing us because they didn't know, or they didn't think it was important, or it was the, you know, they or whatever reason, we do those things because we've deemed it important or necessary. And it's like, I feel like that's how like the cycle continues, you know. And Tatum's gonna do the same thing. If she chooses to be a mother one day, she's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do these things, I'm gonna do things like my parents in this way, but then there might be shit that we do in her upbringing, and she's be like, I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not taking that with me, with my own child.
Yeah, very true.
But I think it's like, I think ultimately like that tweet really comes back around to the moment you start to realize your parents as like whole ass human beings before they were parents. Because before anyone was a parent, they were their own person. And I don't know about you, but I still have days where I'm like, yo, who authorized me to be this girl's mother? Like, I have no clue what I'm doing or what's going on half the time. And it's like, and I gotta like teach her about life, how to read, like, you know, I gotta
teach her not to be an asshole.
Yes, because she's
the
force is strong in her daddy on that one. So I gotta like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like, I mean, I say that jokingly, but I do mean it. Like, part of my like goal as a mother is like I just don't want to raise an asshole, like, because assholes are the worst. And you know, and you still like, you know, you want her to be not an asshole, but I don't want her to be a pushover. I don't want her to be like a simp, but it's like how, you know, you want to give your kids everything you can to help strike that balance. But I think some parents, you know, don't. Sometimes one parent does a much better job of like covering for the flaws and the toxicity of the other parent. So it's not until you get older that you realize that like, oh, one of my parents had a lot more toxicity to them than I even realized.
Yeah, but I mean, you shouldn't even be like, I wouldn't be doing that, because at the end of the day, their relationship is their relationship. And I mean, you can see situations differently, but I'm not going to be like, this parent is more toxic than this parent, because like it doesn't.
What do you mean? You mean like you as the child would say like
I'm saying like for myself, like when I look at my parents, I just see them as two human beings who are together, and they have their quirks and things that works for them. Like they tolerate whatever for them. So I may not, like if I was in that situation, I may be like, no, this doesn't work for me, but it's worked for them. So it's like for me to say like this person is toxic, because I don't know the background behind whatever the issue is, you know.
But I think even like to the point of like, okay, so there's like toxic behaviors that like maybe they, and not like there's like a set of parents or whatever. Maybe there's toxic behaviors that a set of parents, one parent has, that if the other parent doesn't shield the child from that, it could, you know, they see how that could have a long-lasting negative impact on that relationship. So they protect the child from that. And then you also have like but then as you get older, the parent that's trying to kind of shelter that child might take a step back and let you start to see them for who they are, and that can be kind of shocking or jarring. Or it could be somebody who has like not just a toxic personality or personality traits, but it could be like toxic parenting skills, right? But like the other parent is trying to like cover for it. So I think like there's truth to it. I just think that it damn sure isn't always just one parent. Some cases, of course, like I think like you said, any version of this could be true, but I think we all end up like seeing,
I think,
less than desirable traits.
I think when you get older, if anything, I think when you get older, you can see how arguments can start, or how issues may start based off of what the parent may have done. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that you kind of see. Like, or like who
might be more like inclined to be like
if this situation happens, she's gonna do this, and then he's gonna do that, and now they're gonna be here. You know what I mean? Or if this situation happened, he's gonna say this, and once he say that, now she's gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could kind of be like, you
see like the triggers happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And whereas before you might only see like the fallout, and then you might be like, oh, you were wrong or whatever, when really you didn't see all the like picking that one person did that led up to that. You just see like the fallout.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very true too. And that could be a thing that you come to that realization. You'd be like, holy shit, like I always thought it was just like this person. And I think that speaks to like could be spoken to like my upbringing a little bit. Like I was always seeing the reaction, but I wasn't always seeing the catalyst to that caused that, because my mom's reaction was a lot more like louder and verbal and like and transparent, and my dad's maybe sometimes the catalyst that he might have served, he moved a lot quieter with it. Mm-hmm. And so for me it painted a certain picture, but as I got older I realized that that picture wasn't accurate, and that it was a little bit more balanced as far as the blame to be shared about why they weren't good together, or why they, you know, didn't work out, you know. And it humanized my dad, and it hurt, you know, it hurt for me, and it hurt my feelings some, because for a very long time he was like, again, could do no wrong. But what I'll say is that it it was a good thing that happened, but it also, like, it didn't, in my situation, because my dad and my mom were never, they were great parents. They were just not great spouses to each other. Not to each, for each other, I should say. But you, that like, that's where I was able to still have a good and a great relationship with my dad and my mom up until till this day, until the day my dad passed away, because their behaviors humanized them to me, but it didn't change how I viewed them as parents, if that makes sense.
But you shouldn't have changed how you view them as parents.
Not in my situation, because what I came to know and what I came to realize as I got older made me look at my dad differently as like a man and as a husband, but it didn't necessarily impact who he was as a father to me. And so for me, like, that's always going to be like, that's his primary role in my eyes. It's my dad, and my mom's is primary role is my mom. So my first correlation with them is how they relate to me, and then I see how they relate to each other and to other people, and so on and so forth. So, I'm curious to know. I think we should definitely talk about this on Tuesday, when as far as like is the validity to the statement, and then like I would love to hear from like people who have maybe like had a different parental experience, or maybe single parent household, and like, or like a parent that was kind of like in and out of their lives and stuff, because I think that tweet takes on different meanings depending on your particular family dynamic growing up. And, or like, if you feel like, or if you're a parent and you feel like your partner, like your child is going to grow up and see you or your partner as like as the one to blame or something like that on a certain topic or area, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to hear about that when we talk to you guys, and as well as, your thoughts on Chloe Bailey and niggas fucking up the silhouette challenge, and if COVID fatigue and all that stuff, because I think that I would love to really like hear what other people have to say about that too. You agree?
I do.
Well, all right, folks, we're gonna wrap this sucker up, and again, catch us on Clubhouse. We will be there on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. sharp. Make sure if you need an invitation, I have a few, so slide in our DMs and we can make sure you have one. Come prepared to share. We're going to moderate and do all that jazz. We hope that you can join us, and make sure you follow us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show, on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7, and email us your thoughts, suggestions, headaches, heartaches at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear your feedback on all these things. And yeah, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel, and I am your girl Dani,
and I'm your guy TJ,
and you know that we fuss,
we fight, but we love. Bye.